This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot, we charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month slows. Full terms at mintmobile.com.
Need new glasses or want a fresh new style? Warby Parker has you covered. Glasses start at just $95, including anti-reflective, scratch-resistant prescription lenses that block 100% of UV rays. Every frame's designed in-house with a huge selection of styles for every face shape. And with Warby Parker's free home try-on program, you can order 5 pairs to try at home for free. Shipping is free both ways, too. Go to warbyparker.com/covered to try 5 pairs of frames at home for free. warbyparker.com/covered.
Good evening, everyone. It's Monday night, and it's a one-off Monday night. And welcome to our Tilton Talk Show one-off episode. I'm Paul Hipkiss, and we're sponsored by Small Affordable Cars. Tonight we're joined by Claire Giblin.
Good evening.
Mark Adams.
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Craig Courtney.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the summer.
Chris Browne.
Good evening.
And last but by no means least, the chairman, Allan Watton.
Good evening, everybody, and greetings from the south.
So we thought
Sunshiny here.
South.
Yeah, we thought we'd have a show because there's so much to talk about. So we thought we'd catch up with everybody, and I just want to start us off by wishing Tony Mowbray all the best. You know, it was such a shame that he had to step down because he was definitely the man to get us back up, wasn't he? And you know, he's had to take a break from football altogether, and I wish him a speedy recovery and hope to see him back in the game as soon as possible. But we move on, obviously, as a club, unfortunately, and you know, we've made a very left field appointment, I'll say. It's a guy I'd never heard of a week ago, but it's certainly an exciting appointment. You know, another young manager who's looking to make a name in the game, and you know, let's hope he's the new Kieran McKenna or the new Mikel Arteta, or you know what I mean, somebody who was an assistant that can step up no problem into the driver's seat. But I'll start with you, Craig. What are your thoughts, mate, on Chris Davies? And had you ever heard of Chris Davies a week ago, or was it just me?
No, up until a week ago, I would say I hadn't heard of it because he was obviously linked with the Swansea job quite heavily at one point, and I work with quite a few Spurs fans, so you know they talked about what it was like being at Spurs and what he did, and the one thing was, and I think shouts and screams for me, is that this is his opportunity now to shine. He was very open in his like kind of introductory interviews that he'd been waiting for the right job to come along, and he wanted a club that had the same aspirations as he did, which is something to grow, something to build on, and we've offered him that chance. And you know, the lads and lasses that I work with have had nothing but positives to say about him, and in fact have said that arguably under Postecoglou, the vast majority of the training. Yeah, I'm not even going to try and say his name again. But the vast majority of training and everything, the way it was set up, the set piece work, all of that was actually led by Davies. So, you know, I look at the way that Spurs changed, the way they played, and actually it could be really, really interesting. Now it's down to what he brings in as his backroom staff, how we structure, and then is he going to hit the ground running? I hope so. But as fans, have we got to back him? Yeah, we've got to back him to the hilt, you know, and I'm sure we will. I'm really optimistic. I'm really positive. I think he's got a good pedigree. As a number 2, I know, you know, before it comes on the message board. But quite often, the number 2s are the people that are leading what happens on the pitch. The managers are there to do that man management style, that hand-holding in effect. And again, come back to what they've said from work, and that he is very hands-on, very approachable, and actually is a very, very, very good people person. So if he can bring what Eustace brought as man management with the experience and expertise that he has learned from really good managers in his time, we could do really well. And 4 years, that's a big statement from the board to sign him into a 4-year contract. So he's part of our future. He's part of what we want to build. Let's get behind him. You know, his first day's been today. Couldn't help but smile when I saw the picture of him walking in with a smile on his face. It's great to see. So bring it on.
Yeah, he unfortunately had to retire from playing at 19 years old, didn't he, due to an arthritic foot. So he's had a long time there to, 20 years to obviously, get himself coaching. And I don't know if he's been coaching since he was 19, probably not, but he's certainly spent a lot of years, and sadly, obviously, the years he should have probably been playing, coaching instead, hasn't he? But
he's learned a lot, and we've been talking off air about, obviously, the topic will come up in a minute, but Scottish football. And, he learned a lot under Brendan Rodgers at Celtic. You're not part of a team that wins back-to-back triples if you haven't got something about you. He then went to Liverpool. He did well. He's then been at Leicester. He's won the Premier League. He's been part of an FA Cup run. So he's got this pedigree that we all wanted. And yeah, you mentioned Kieran McKenna. I think I said on the day on WM that the one thing is Kieran McKenna was a nobody. And then he come in and he's stamped his authority. He's built a team the way that he wanted. And then look what's happened. He built a team in their first division, got themselves promoted, and then went back-to-back promotions. So hopefully we can do the same. But to reiterate what I said at that time, we can't expect miracles. We are not going to walk this league. And I know we'll come on to it in a bit, so I'll mention it then. Claire, what's your thoughts on him?
I quite like the fact that it was someone out of nowhere. I quite like the fact it's not somebody that we can compare. If anything, he gives everyone a clean slate from now. I agree with you where, you don't work for Liverpool, Celtic, Tottenham. Was he an analysis person as well somewhere? Yep. So he's not daft. Obviously, we've got to give him time. But hopefully he's got some contacts in the game and he's coached some players, even from like youngsters and things like that maybe are on the periphery of some of the squads and we can get. Now, if we were in the Championship, I think it would have been a totally different ball game. But I do like the fact that, we've been through thousands of, different information and 40 different people, and they've taken their time. And what was nice is that it was like, right, we're just going to say this is the manager now. It did take longer than people were thinking, and it's quite nice to not have the speculation anymore. But I'm optimistic. I think fingers crossed he can come in and do a job. I mean, 4-year contract. You're part of the project then, aren't you, really? I think the new things and everything else.
Yeah, I think the most impressive thing he was part of was finishing 5th in the Prem back-to-back seasons as Rodgers' assistant at Leicester, and then winning the FA Cup as well. They won the FA Cup as well, and he was assistant then as well. I don't think he won the Premier League, Craig. That was Ranieri, wasn't it? But he was part of that successful team that won the FA Cup, wasn't he, in 2000 and I want to say 20.
Oh, right.
Following season after the Premier League, wasn't he? They won it after the Premier League season, I think, if I remember rightly.
I think it was about 5 years later, mate. So it was 2016 that Ranieri won the Prem. And 2021 when they won the FA Cup, when Rodgers won the FA Cup. I think I'm 99% sure that's right. But Allan, correct me if I'm wrong. You'll know this.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
good guess.
But your thoughts, Al, let's get your thoughts, Al. You heard this a week ago.
We've never heard of him. Well, we're not, it's in our jobs in life to find and know about the ins and outs of every football person on the planet. No. But it is that job of somebody at Birmingham City to know that. And when I heard this guy, I probably reacted like, who? And then I started to read his bio, and was he there? Goodness me! And it was there, and he was there, and he was there. And if you was at Tottenham, Celtic, Liverpool, Leicester, that ain't a bad CV, is it? I mean, if you only clean the loo, that's a pretty good CV. And then obviously we've all done it. We've all gone on YouTube. We've all got on Wikipedia, and we probably know all about him now. And you can't help being impressed. You think, well, wow, look what he's done. Now, I like what the owners, or whoever has done this, and I like how it's been done. It's been a long process. It's driven me up the wall. I mean, anybody who's read any of my tweets, they'll probably think, he's gone crack. Well, I was get a bloody move on. Do this. I want the enthusiasm back. And then on Friday, I was in London on a trip with my son, and this suddenly arrived, and I said, we got a new manager. And he said, who? And he lives in London. You never heard of him. And then we both, we were suddenly uplifted. My interest is back. Me, I'm moaning about everything. Oh yeah. But I suddenly got, wow, this is it. And I'm starting thinking, I look at the fixtures, we haven't had the fixtures out, but I've looked at the teams who we're going to play, and you're thinking, well, there's only them, and that they might give us a game, and all that sort of stuff. And so I think it's a wonderful, exciting thing, and he could fall flat on his face. But I would not, where I can point the finger at all sorts of people in the last 12 months for making mistakes, some unfortunate, but mistakes nonetheless. I wouldn't do that with it. If he failed, I would say, well, we did everything right to get this guy, and it turns out that that's unfortunate, but I don't think it will. I think the way we've been professional about it has been marvellous, and I'm almost interested in things like fan parks and stuff like that. But this is great.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah. We wait to see what it's going to be like, next season. But obviously the pressure will be on him because the demand is there to take us straight back up at the first time of asking, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say it's part of the big reset, isn't it? I mean, I love the fact it looks like somebody at the club or some people at the club have done the homework, because this appointment looks like it's been really organised and really thought about. It's the football side of things, I must admit, it's still pretty surreal to see us down there. I mean, like Al said, you look at the fixtures and it's very bizarre to see us, some of the teams we'll play next season. It still hasn't sunk in on some levels. It's still a bit surreal. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a fresh new way of thinking for everyone. And let's just get behind him and see what happens. I'm confident we'll come straight back up as champions even, but it's going to be such a hard slog. If we do go up as champions, we would have earned it, because it's going to be a really hard division. It's unusual that we're going to be like the big fish, because it's going to be weird being the target for everyone. But I'm looking forward to it now. I just want to get going.
That's got to add a certain amount of pressure as well, being the big fish, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Be interesting now.
If this does turn out to be the right appointment, which I'm confident, hopefully it will be, with his background as an assistant manager, then there's no reason why we can't get 100 points and romp the division. You know what I mean? If we keep the core of our, I was going to say our best players, but if we can keep one or two players that are worth keeping, and add to that better quality, even though we've gone down than what we've got, and more squad depth, mainly a striker who can score 25 goals in this league, then there's no reason why we can't. There's no reason why we can't do that and have a really enjoyable season,
Dean Lawrence has put on the message board, and I think it's so true. We've got one of the best unknown and up-and-coming managers in the game, and people are still moaning. Let's get behind the gaffer and the team, as promotion is a must. And I think this is... there he is. Despite the fact we're all positive. But on the day of the release, there was an air of negativity. There was an air of some fractions of the fans, like, who? Why are we not going for a big name? Why have we done this? Why haven't we done that? Well, you read into that release that they put in, you listen to what Davis himself has said, and he went through the mill to get this job. You know, thousands down to 40 then interviewed, and we're not talking about just being interviewed by Gardner or Cook like previous ones have. But Wagner was involved. Brady was involved. Brady got some of his people involved. So the whole structure of getting this person through has been very, very, very regimental. That tells us on paper we should have the best. Now, we've got to back this guy, you know. Everybody has an opinion, and we've seen it across multiple platforms. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has a right to an opinion and have a say. But actually, when it comes to the crux of it all, come that second weekend of August, we'll be back in the Blues to the hilt. And that's what everybody needs to get behind and what we all need to look forward to. Because that future is bright, and if he can pull off some of the signings that I think he will do, I think he'll bring some fresh faces in, and he'll bring some good players in. And if we get a third of the people we're already linked with, it's going to be brilliant. You know, we are big fish. We are that team that everybody wants. We are the FA Cup final to every team that we play in that league every week. So now we've got to be bigger and better than that. We've got to step up. And from the very first kick of the ball to the very last kick of the ball, we've got to be on the front foot and go into games. If we do it, you're right, Paul. Why can't we get 100 points? Why can't we smash the league? You know, do I honestly think we can do it? It's going to be tough. It's going to be very, very, very tough.
A lot of pressure, that is.
Yeah, and the fans have got to realise, I think, you know, let's set the expectations now. We all want us to be promoted as champions. We all want to go up with 100 points. And actually, there's probably more pressure on us now going into next season than there was on us getting out of a promotion spot, a relegation spot, sorry. So, and that's tough for any team, any new manager. And let's also not forget, we're building a squad. I mean, that doesn't happen overnight.
No.
I love the Mr. Wagner's remark, and he just slipped it in, and I thought, what did I hear then? And he said, we want a championship-ready team to play in this division. So what he's talking doing in Ipswich, he's not thinking of buying players for the Division League One. He's thinking of buying players that are going to win the championship. So basically, that's the exciting thing, because it you know, you could do a Barry Fry, you know, and buy loads of players who are all experienced in that division, and et cetera, and then you get up, and Barry Fry didn't do that well, did he? I mean, he did okay, but he got the sack in the end because he couldn't get past halfway. Yeah. Now this bloke hopefully will have a side coming out of this division, even if it's not this year. It might be the next year, who knows? But when they do go up, it isn't we got to buy another new squad now and find this and find that. You know, it's a little bit of touching up. You know, I'd play there, I'd play there, and we carry on going forward. And that's the thing that really got my old ticker pumping, thinking, yeah, this is the way to do it. You know, you buy a championship side, and you win the League One. But then you'll have a championship winning side, and you win that, and then obviously then the money gets silly, and you start preparing for that. But I don't see any other way of doing it. To be honest, you've got to speculate to accumulate.
Yeah. What are the restrictions on spending? Do we know? I mean, I know it's different, isn't it?
They're far more liberal than being in the division above.
Very, very liberal.
Financial fair play as a rule that is in the Premiership and Championship doesn't exist in Divisions 1 or 2.
No.
It's at the start of the season, the club will be asked to declare what they believe their income in terms of revenue will be.
Right.
Then, this is where it gets daft. As a newly relegated side, we can then spend up to, I believe, 70% of that revenue income. without any questions being asked, and that's on players and salary.
Right.
The teams that are already in the league and have been for a period of time get a lower amount to spend. So straight away, you're on an advantage as far as the money is concerned.
Got you.
Then there's the additional side of it, which is, for example, we get to Christmas, window's about to open, we're in a prime position to get promoted, we want to spend a little bit of extra cash. We've already spent the 70% of our income. All Wagner has to do is go, I'm going to invest another 20 million into the club, and I'm going to take this in the form of shares. At that point, that is a gift from the owner in the form of a monetary income. That monetary income can then be spent in its totality on players. So it's completely different. But then you have to balance that off. Whatever they spend, then if they are to be promoted, kicks into financial fair play next year. So there is this balancing act. But the other good thing for us, and it is a good thing, is that these massive salaries that we've been carrying for the past 5-6 seasons in some areas are dropping away. So actually, come I believe it's the 1st of July, come the 1st of July, we're in a much better financial position than we have ever been as a club. And arguably our income and revenue is going to be up. So we can spend more. And I'm not saying we will, because I don't think we will go out and spend millions and millions and millions. We'll spend a fair bit, but we're not going to go over the top. But I believe the money's there. If they're financially astute and they do the right things, it'll mean things like loans. They can pay championship level salaries in the first division because of the fact that we've got this extra money, and it's things like that we can then build on. But we wait and see. Cook's a shrewd man. Wagner knows what he wants to do. They've already got irons in the fire. I'd probably say they've probably got lining up, people to bring in. But I think what we'll find is a balance of experience and young, eager players. These people that want to step up and take. Then sometimes you have to take a step back, don't you, to go forwards.
Yeah, definitely.
As a club, we've done it. Players might have to do it as well. And Craig Gardner's still there. He's got the support now with the other guys that are there. We have moved people on. So some of those recruitments that we've made in the past, those people have gone. So it's a complete fresh face to the whole lot. And the manager, I think, will have a heavy say as well now in terms of what happens, because his head's on the chopping block if things don't go right.
Oh, no, absolutely. And that's the main thing, isn't it? The first sort of, dozen games is where we'll get a good idea of, where we're at. And I think we will see a completely different personnel, mainly in the squad as well. But for me, if we can attract players that will step down from the Championship to League One, then there'll be more determination in them, won't there? Because they won't want to be playing in this division. If they're good enough to play in the Championship, say in the top 10 of the Championship, then they ain't going to want to be hanging around in this division for any more than one season either. So the determination will be to get us straight up at the first time of asking.
And I will say, we've actually had a link post onto our message board. So thanks, Dave Twine, for putting it up. What I'll do is I'll take some snippets of that and get it posted out to everybody. But that's worth a read, because it gives the full breakdown. And apologies, I said 70%, but it's actually 60% of turnover in wages. So it's for us, you look at it this way: 60% of potentially 40-50 million. When we look at those teams that are below us, they're not bringing in anywhere near that in revenue. So we should be up there, and we should be in a position to have plenty of financial clout.
We'll see. I mean, it depends who we can attract, doesn't it? If you ain't going to be getting some of the best players out of the Championship to step down to League One, but you might be getting players who like this Twine, who can't get in Burn in this team and was on loan at Bristol City last season. He'd be a good signing in this division, but is he then prepared to be in a Championship winning team the season after? I'm not sure. I don't know. But
we're not going to get the probably top class players, but we have got a draw. We have got we've got that little bit about us that perhaps those other teams in the league haven't, which is we have massively aspirational owners who want to take us forwards and will do absolutely everything, like you say, to get us out the league. So some players, while we might think they won't drop, they might. You know, if we offer them a decent salary and we say to them, there's a huge promotional bonus here to get us back out of this league, then money talks.
Yeah. Well, one of these,
Wrexham.
Exactly. Wrexham are a great example, actually, of where they've spotted where they had gaps, and what the people they've brought in, whilst they haven't been total world class, they've been reams above where they should have been in terms of the league, and they've paid
mostly League One players.
Yeah,
mostly League One players.
Yeah.
Well, let's see.
In the conference.
Yeah.
It's so, for me, I'm normally going down the Blues in more hope than expectation, but I'm not going to lie. Next season, I'm going down there with more expectation than hope.
I think though you've got to see who they bring in, and I think pre-season will be quite a good to see this year. I think, especially if there's a lot of players that we're not quite sure about either, because I think what I like about him is he's good man manager, which actually I think we need that with. Like, if Sanderson does stay, I think the captaincy should be taken off him straight away. And he needs someone with an arm around him. You know, there's all these... We have got quite a few young players. Like, Laird, he's a lot younger than people think. You know, the George Halls, even like Tyler Roberts needs somebody to put his arm around him. And I think if he's got a really good man management style, which he's been, you know, touted for, then actually he's going to he might actually reinvigorate some of the squad we've got. Now, obviously, yes, some people will go, like Bakuna's already, people are saying he's off to Coventry, here, there and everywhere. But I think if they want to go, let them go. But if they want to stay and he's there, I don't think he's going to take much messing. You know, if he's been around people who are world class, like, you know, like the Liverpools and the, you know, the Tottenham have got some really world-class players. You know, they're going to be in the Euros and people like that. He's used to egos. He's going to be used to talking to some of these players who are on multi-million pounds a year. So I just think we have to shape it, and then they've got to gel. That's the problem. We've got to wait for them to gel. So, yeah, we do go expecting, but at the same time, I think we can't go over-expecting, because that's what happened last season. We were in such a good place. We were going each week going, yeah, we're going to win next, we're going to win. And then it just goes down. Well, actually, let's build a winning side. Let's build a side that's competitive, and we should be at the top. There's no, you know, ifs or buts. But I think you've got to build a winning mentality, and you've got to build that expectation when you go. Because the thing is that if we all suddenly get on their back 6 games in because we've only won 3 of them and drawn 2, but we're still up there, but we're gelling, it's just going to be another car crash again. So I think we've got to go with some sort of a little bit of optimism as well, because it depends who they do bring in. But hopefully, fingers crossed, we can be top of the league and get back out again.
We need to sign players that basically put a spring in your step to go down there and watch them. You know, I can't tell you the last player that I've felt about. You know, I've probably Shea Adams under Gary Monk that season. I look forward to going to St Andrews to watch him when he fired all the goals that season. You know, it was the first time for a long time that we got a striker that scored over 20 goals in a season, and we need to sign players that do that to the fans. You know, going back years now, you know, I couldn't wait to get down there and watch, you know, Paul Devlin. I couldn't wait to get down there and watch Brian Hughes, Stan Lazaridis. We've been starved of players like that over the last 12, 13 years in particular.
Definitely.
But sorry, Mark, I'm going to say something.
No, I was just going to say, it'll be interesting when we do have the inevitable sort of dodgy result at home or the loss. It'd be interesting, but if we can't afford any meltdowns on people. We are going to get some dodgy results. We're going to get some really weird results. We've just got to, keep it together and get to about Christmas time. And we should. I hate to be complacent, but we should be in the top 4, top 6 come the end of the year. Should be, surely.
Yeah, I'd like to.
I mean, you mentioned there, about not getting in the doldrums or anything else. The fact is, we're going to go into the season with probably 2/3 of the squad being brand new. So they're going to take time to gel. And our pre-season games are, I mean, we hope going into to make it look too negative. They're not exactly going to set the world on fire with the teams that we're playing, and I know it's pre-season. And to be honest, I never take anything out of pre-season because I don't believe it. Every single game and still get, following season, lose everything.
Yeah, they're just glorified. They're just public training sessions, aren't they?
Yeah. So, the telltale signs will be at the end of August. At the end of August, beginning of September, as we go into our first international break, that's when you'll get the telltale signs around how.
We have an international break in League One. We don't.
Yeah, we will because we'll have people out the team.
That's right. Yeah, apparently we can apply to have the game pushed back. And again, actually, just coming back to that, think of our squad. Arguably, we should if we keep some of the players we've got around us. Talking about those players. I don't know whether people have yet had the chance or whether you've had a listen. But John Ruddy's interview on the Fozcast, very, very, very honest. Bit of an eye opener, really. I think around his honesty, and obviously John Ruddy has been offered another contract at the club. Be interesting to see what he is going to do. I can't say at the moment how I think it'll go. Djukovic, Djuki for me. This league is prime for him. He's not going to play every game, but he'll score goals and he'll be able to support people up front. This is his opportunity. I really do hope we'll see Djuki, and I think it's all very positive coming from that front on his side of things. He's been very open. Said to a couple of people now, I want to end my career on a promotion. So
with a medal, yeah.
What I mean. I want to. Yeah, and I think for me, actually, he'd be a very, very, very good captain to take us forwards with the experience. And, you mentioned that Claire Sanderson, but last week we had a Solihull meeting with the OSC and we had Harley Dean there, and Harley was very, very honest in the way that he spoke. And the one thing that resonates for me was he said it was perhaps the wrong time. Sanderson will be a captain of a team in the future and will do very well. But what he needed was somebody to put his arm around him when things were going wrong and say, you need to step back. Or if you need a hand, we're here to help out. And we didn't have that in the squad last year. That's one thing we need to have this time around. Mixture of experience and young, eager players that want to go out and fight, want to show what they can do. I hope we do get that. And that's where I think Djukovic could come into his own, going into next season. Not playing every game, but that old head on those shoulders, supporting the youngsters, helping them through, is going to be key. Perhaps Sanderson, if he stays, the reset button will be hit. It's quite, isn't it? We're touted with going to Rangers. We're playing Rangers, but Rangers now are going very quiet on what's happening. We'll find out come the window when it opens.
I think for me, if you offer me Bielik or Sanderson, Bielik all day long.
Oh God, yeah.
And twice on Sunday as well. He'd be my captain next season. I'm not going to lie. I'd have him as captain if he wants to stay.
He'd be a revelation in League One, wouldn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. So and hopefully we can, keep one or two players, like I said. But for me, the away form is the biggest thing that needs addressing. That was practically what relegated us last season. And they need to address that because they're not going to have as big a following in these away games next season because there's not as much allocation. The stadiums aren't as big, so that definitely needs addressing, doesn't it? The away form.
Did anyone expect a big sort of exodus of players? Because at the minute, I know they're all on holiday or international football, but I expected a big exodus. But at the minute, it's not happening, is it? So you do wonder.
A lot of them are contracted, so they're contracted technically.
There are players.
Players can't go anywhere.
We've got until obviously, isn't it the 1st of July is technically when it can all happen. We might see loads of them going, and if they do want to go, let them go. We'll just start afresh anyway, and we'll move on from them, and they will regret leaving. That's how I see it. Hopefully they'll regret going. So I think that they are still contracted. Like Anderson was very coy about it. We know that we've got him for another year. I think that was a great bit of business. Put it straight away, bang, here you go, contract on the table, and he was like, "Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to take it then. Sorted."
Yeah.
He's one of them. I can see. I think Buchanan will be gone. I generally do. I think he'll go to a top half championship team. But some of the others, will teams want them after last season? That's what you've got to think of. So, we've got to build, and if they're here, they're here. We'll play them. If they're not, then we'll get somebody else in.
We're in a situation that we're just not used to. Off the field, it's all looking good, and the club's in a good in a good position financially now, and they're turning it all round off the field.
Yeah.
But normally, when we've been relegated in the past, we've had to sell our best players, haven't we? We've had no choice. When we went down from the Premier League to the Championship in 2011, it was an exodus, wasn't it? And it's a bit different this time, isn't it? So, if they want to keep their best players and they are willing to stay, I certainly don't want to sit there and watch anyone who doesn't want to put the shirt on. So, good riddance if they do want to go, if that's how they feel. And I'm not going to lie, I wouldn't sit here and cry about any of them leaving, to be honest, after they've just relegated us. So
I think there's one thing our new manager must be able to do, which none of our managers did last year. All 6 of them had no input whatsoever in the transfers. Certainly, John. We signed 13 players before the season started, and Eustace had no input. Now, obviously, the next window we signed 3 midfield players when everybody was screaming for a striker. I don't think Tony Mowbray had any input in that. This guy must be. I'm not saying he should do it all alone, but he should be the chairman of that committee. Right? I want this. I want that. What do you think? Not the other way around. I know when Mayashi was signed. This comes from a pretty good source. Eustace was asked, "What do you think about this player?" And he said, "He's a bit lightweight for this league." And they said to him, "Yeah, we think you're probably right, but we've signed him anyway." So Mayashi turns up and he said, "No, he wasn't a bad signing. I'm not going to say that was wrong, but he might not have been what Eustace wanted." And Eustace got the sack for playing not his team. And that's not fair. That's whatever the knowledge base is, it's not fair to be employing a bloke and then getting rid of him when he's had no input on he's done his best with what he's been given.
Was he head coach or manager though? Because that's another difference. So Chris Davis, is he manager or is he head coach?
Head coach.
Because if you're head coach, he will have players. Because normally if you're the manager, you can have reliance on players. If you're head coach, a lot of the time you work with the technical director to sort players. That's the difference.
I don't see how anyone's neck can be on the chopping block if, they haven't got a say in players. I mean, it's a bit like, as an owner, it's a bit like paying for a dog and barking yourself, isn't it? If you're going to get involved in recruiting players and not let the manager have a say or make the final decision. Do you know what I mean? He's the one who picks the team. He's the one on the training ground with them every day. Surely it has to, surely the final decision has to come from him.
I think it
wasn't the Blues.
No.
Well, I think this is the one thing, actually, and again, raised last Tuesday, funnily enough, and the question was asked, Tom Ross was there, so the question was asked around player recruitment and who was in control, and Tom was very honest in regards to what he said, which was heavily weighted around Craig Gardner and his, getting people through and his contacts, etc. Because at the time we didn't have the people that we could ask to spend the money on. We didn't have those people with the experience around there. And if we look back, did he do a good job? He did, really, to bring in the players that he has. And you mentioned Miyoshi there. Well, Miyoshi, I think, will be one of those players that leaves. But we got him for nothing. So if we get him for nothing and we sell him for 3, that's a good piece of business. Hake is exactly the same. We get him for next to nothing. They'll have a clause in the contract that says, if you're relegated, I'm going to move on. happy days, but we'll have a price. And at the end of the day, people have got to realise that, yes, the manager will have a say. I need to get myself this type of position. We want this type of player. But actually, that recruitment team, those people that are working in the background, are the people that are doing all the legwork. They're the ones that are talking to players. It's probably fair to say that before the end of last season, Gardner was already talking to players. He will be talking now. Tom Ross again mentioned the fact he played in a charity game the other week. And at half-time, he come off the pitch and his phone was ringing and he was talking to agents. This is on a Sunday. He said, so when he talks to Craig, it's one of those that it's a never-ending role. It's constantly on the go. So there's got to be that meet in the middle. I agree the manager has to have a say, but I don't honestly think in the current environment that in any team, any league, the manager has the full say on players anymore. Down to the owners, down to the recruitment team, because they want to build something that, you know, they've already said it. They want a championship team in the first division. So he's got the experience from Premier League. He's got the experience of seeing the other leagues. He's got the experience of Europe. So he knows what to look for. He knows the balance. He'll put that forwards. They'll then do what they can do. But again, I guess we've got to look at it this way. We're in a state of flux. We've got to work with those people as well. Trust the people they bring through the door, because actually, let's look back over the record. We actually had a player that we've purchased that has then been sold on that we haven't made a profit on since Gardner's been in charge. And I don't think the answer is yes. I think we have made a profit on all of them. So we've got to do something.
Yeah, no, yes, we have recruited some good players since he's been in that job. You know, there's definitely more good ones than bad. Do you know what I mean? Or, you know, some of them are better than others, but yeah, he's not done a bad job overall. But you know, certainly off the field. Anyway, I'll come on to off the field activities that we've seen so far at St Andrews, and you know, the big screens going up, obviously behind each goal, are very impressive, and the you know, they've got all the fan parks starting, the club shops closed, and there's a temporary shop opening, I believe. I don't know when it opens. Does anyone know when it opens? Or in the car park?
In the car park.
Say again?
Shortly, I believe. From what I understand, I presume it'll be in line with the kit launch.
Has anyone been up since the end of the season? I haven't had a chance to go up yet to see it all.
No, my parents,
seen pictures.
My parents were there today because obviously we've had the fiasco of having to move seats because we were in club class. We've now got 3 seats. It's a bit of a bittersweet day today because I've got mixed emotions because my daughter has got her first season ticket today, so I'm absolutely delighted about that. But you know, through gritted teeth, I moved seats. You know, but,
the elephant in the room.
What's happening to your seat then, Paul?
So we have
know
to
where
move.
You sit.
Yeah, we have to move because they're turning all basically club class. 90% of club class is being turned into hospitality. So,
so is that the Gilmerick as well, Paul? Is that the Gilmerick as well? Or just
I believe I've not heard much about the Gilmerick, but is the same thing happening in the Gilmerick as well?
No, it's just the cup.
Oh, is it? Oh, right, okay.
I know it's
the Gilmerick Upper is going to go to. It's going to be the people involved with the club, but also the foundation will be used for the Gilmerick Upper. Hence one of the reasons it's not physically for sale. But you've also got that new renovation that's happening with the boxes in the Gilmerick.
Yeah.
So you know that will make a difference from that front. I don't know. I don't think it impacts the seats though in terms of that.
It's disappointing. You know, I've built a good relationship with loads of people who I sit around for the last 12 years sitting there. You know, I've obviously moved around over the years. I've had a season ticket since 1995, but you know, we moved there after we got relegated in 2011, 2012. And you know, it was actually Lee Clark. Sorry, so Chris Hughton was our last season in Block 28 in the lower car, and then we moved up to Lee Clark when he came into club class, and we've been there ever since.
It's a long time.
And there's some fantastic people around us there. I'm going to miss every match day, and I have spoken to a couple today as well, and you know they're gutted as well. But it is what it is. You know, I do get the money side of it. You know, and I suppose now in this world we're customers, aren't we? We're not fans anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all money.
You know,
and you know on the season ticket front, though, I mean it's been very mixed, hasn't it? The replies and whatever way everybody has spoken about it since it's been released. And yes, totally get, the way the club class at the time was dealt with was far from brilliant. To release season tickets, to release a video for everybody to watch, and then to say, oh, by the way, we're moving you, is probably not the best way to go about it. And, let's face it, they've probably known for a long time that this was going to happen, so advance notice could have been given. They could have done that a lot better.
Yeah, I agree.
But,
overall, though, they've stuck to one of the promises that they said, which was they want to attract families, they want to attract kids back to the stadium. And I think the pricing for families is absolutely superb. It's brilliant. I'll say it's taking my two girls down. I cannot knock £95 for a season ticket in the Tilton for kids. And I say kids, it's up to the age of 16, so it's far from kids. It's great. And the family structures and ticketing in the Arthur's area, again, is such a brilliant scheme and a superb price for an adult and a child.
Craig, we've just got to make sure, though, they've got to be quite hot on making sure it's kids as well. Do you know what I mean? So I know with part of the men's match day thing group, we've been talking about, all the options because, you've got some kids sat next to, they're not kids, they're teens.
Hi, I'm DeLon Grant.
And I'm Francesca Ramsey, and together we host the podcast Let Me Fix It.
Each week we explore something from the past, and then we pitch how to fix it for today.
But forget about the past. Let's talk about the new show of the moment. DeLon, did you get a chance to watch the new Queenie trailer I sent you?
How dare you send me this amazing show that took me back to every messy breakup I've ever had. Thank God I had you through my 20s.
Now, you could not pay me to go back and relive those days, but thankfully, we will be living as Queenie navigates her messy 20s.
The new series Queenie is now streaming on Hulu.
There's never been a faster or easier way to start your weight loss journey than with PlushCare. PlushCare accepts most insurance plans and gives you online access to board-certified physicians who can prescribe FDA-approved weight loss medications like Wegovy and Zepbound for those who qualify. Take charge of your health and speak with a board-certified physician about a weight loss plan that's right for you. Get started today at plushcare.com/weight loss. That's plushcare.com/weight loss. plushcare.com/weight loss.
Teenagers or young adults swearing and stuff like that, so hopefully they can sort that out.
Yeah, spot on, Pete Taylor. More people will buy at half time because it'll be quicker and bring in more revenue. Got the space, may as well use it.
Yeah, well, if it's going to bring money into the club to give us a better team to watch, and get us where we want to be, then I'll move down 3 blocks, and my daughter's with me as well. So, me and my dad and my daughter will be, I'll sound like Fat Les, don't I? Me and my dad.
Look at Vindaloo.
It literally, with hearing about what they want to do, it's going to be a massive change and it's all for the better, and everything is to do with how can we make everyone's experience better? Even the app. So with the app, that's brand new as well, and that's just going to be fantastic.
Been launched today, hasn't it, Carl, I think?
Has it been launched today?
Yeah, it's been sent out. It looks brilliant. I've signed up and it looks nice.
That's good. At least I don't have to keep crying more. But yeah, it's really, really good. And some of the things with the Tilton that's changing and things like that, I think it'll be just good for everybody really. And you'll see a difference, which is nice when you go to the ground. And also you can scan your own ticket, so get used to it.
Yeah.
I didn't agree with the adult season tickets going up, even though they haven't gone up by much. After relegation, you should really put them down. But I suppose, again, if we want these nice things, we have to pay for it.
I'm quite lucky.
Is it about, 20% of people that have seen an increase?
We have, Craig.
Mine's gone up to £5.
Mine's gone up £6. Mine's gone up. But I will not complain because £6 in 10 years. And that's the way I look at it. Rate of inflation should have been a hell of a lot more than £6, but
I get 20% off with my NHS discount, so that's a massive saving for me.
Do they do 20% discounts for people in prison? I'm impressed.
People in Coventry.
I live like a king.
But no, I've got to say, yeah, that's a great scheme, actually, Mark. That's brilliant for shouting out, because NHS, brilliant. Blue Lights, all of those as well, and our armed forces, the people that ultimately look after us. And
I thought you said it was a good scheme, me being locked away in prison.
There is that as well, but I didn't want to shout that on air. But no, I agree with all of them getting the discounts. I think that's the right thing to do. And also, reading the things like term time ticket schemes and things that they're going to release for students and people that will only be back for certain games. There's a lot to come, and bring it on. Come Thursday morning, I'll be there renewing my season ticket. Simple as.
I think, Craig, with the notice about having to move seats in club class, it wasn't just the disappointment of having to do that, but it was and the short notice. It was also the timing of the bloody email. I'm sat there Friday night in a wicked mood, finish work, weekend, and then I get that email. And then suddenly, I'm like bloody, it's like night and day, the difference in me in the space of like 20 minutes, you know what I mean? So Mrs. was like, what's up with you?
If you've had a cat.
Just to tell you a story about my weekend. I went to 4 sporting occasions on the weekend. I went to Lord's, the Oval, Wembley, and the London Stadium. And I went to each one with my Blues season ticket badge on. It's just a coincidence. The jacket I wore just happened to have it on. And the number of people, I probably sat with 130,000 people over the weekend. And the number of people who call, are you a Blues fan? And I say, and some were Brummies, and there was no Birmingham influence in any of the fixtures that I saw. A bloke at the Oval tapped me on the shoulder who was a Villa fan and said, are you a Blues fan? Yeah. And he said, well, I'm a Villa fan. So I said, oh, okay, goodbye. And I didn't ignore him. I totally ignored him, yeah. But people wanted to talk to me. I was in the queue, are you a Blues fan? Yeah, well, sorry to hear you going down. And some of them didn't say they were sorry, they were happy, but it doesn't matter. They wanted to talk to me. And Birmingham City suddenly are on the forefront of people's thoughts. For the wrong reasons, I understand that.
Again.
But they all want to know what's going to happen next. And they were asking me, well, who's your manager going to be? Who's this going to be? And I said, you know as much as me, mate. In fact, when somebody asked me that on Friday evening, I said, well, we've got this bloke, Chris Davis. I've never bloody heard of him. And they hadn't either. But it was amazing, really, that people should, where we were, there were people walking around in all sorts of tops and shirts and whatever, England shirts, Tottenham shirts, whatever. But they picked me out and say, hey, are you a Blues fan? And it shocked me. But why not? We are front page news again.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I'm looking forward to the new season now, and like I've already said, delighted my daughter can come with us, and we'll see how we go, and hopefully we can hit the ground running from the first whistle. You know what I mean? Get off to a good start, and hopefully we can. So I certainly think we'll win more than we lose in this league. We'll enjoy more victories in this division than what we have in the Championship for the last God knows how many years now. So, bring it on, as you say, Craig. But Claire, I'm going to move on to the Euros now. Is that all right?
Right then, let's switch off.
Just before
I'm going to fall asleep in the corner. It'll be all right.
When do they start? Anybody know?
Yes. Just before we do, Pete Taylor said, Mark, is it right that people in Coventry get season tickets on prescription?
Forced.
Yeah. But no, I want everyone to talk anyway. Are we equipped to go there and win this thing in Germany, Claire?
I think we are. Definitely minimum quarterfinals, I think. Was it Friday night? I can't remember. It was the worst game I've probably seen. And I've been to Blues away. So it was, you know what I mean? Like, I've seen some games in my time. There was no like pace or impetus, or I don't know. I think nobody wanted to get injured, and I'm hoping that, you know, when we actually play properly that we'll be okay. But I think we've got a chance. I just hope Southgate isn't too defensive. Now he's got some of the, you know, I mean, our forward line is one of the best in the world, not just the Euros. So I think France will give us games. I think Germany will be up there. Spain are always around there anyway. And there's always a dark horse, you know, like a Croatia or something. Are they in it yet? Yeah. That they will have a go. And I think the games won't be easy. I think we do know some of the, like, a lot of the people that were playing. So just got to keep going and just hope we get through and we can have a party after.
Those that know me know I'm obviously a very passionate England fan as well as Blues, and I'd always put Blues first, of course, but you know, it's very rare that they're both playing on the same day or at the same time, but that actually did happen, didn't it, in the last World Cup, if you remember. We played Blackpool away, and then England played in the World Cup quarter-final on the night.
That's right,
yeah.
Probably never happen again in our lifetimes, but yeah, I think he's got the squad right. The only person I would have took that he hasn't is Browne. I would have took him ahead of Lewis Dunk personally, but you know, everyone else I agree with, and I do like the way he's turned over a new leaf and actually picked players on form rather than the same old, if you know what I mean. And
I've got to say, people won't like this on here. I know they won't, but
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah,
I know you're going to mention.
I would have taken Jack Grealish.
Yeah,
because he gives us another attacking option.
Yeah, he gets the ball up the field. He can get you a foul in the 90th minute when you need one.
Of course, yeah.
I can't stand the bloke. No. I despise him. I can't stand him. But as a footballer, as an England footballer, I was shocked when his name was, and even like Maddison's different as well. Like, I'm shocked that he's taken Bowen and Eze. I thought it'd be one or the other, but I think Jude Bellingham has got so much weight on his shoulders in this, and he's got to play. And if he performs, I mean, Ballon d'Or. There you go.
Yeah, was a good example. You know, everybody says England is not a one-man team, but actually, how much did we miss him on Friday? The drive moving forward, thought was lost without a player around him. But you know, going back to the Grealish side of things, he's not had the best of seasons. He's not really played though to have that best of seasons. But the one thing that he will always give you, and Claire, you've just alluded to it there, really is, you know what? If he gets you 10 free kicks because he's been fouled, that's 10 attacking opportunities that we will have. Yeah. I don't think we've got a player on the squad at the moment that gives that same sort of thing, that bit of difference. And actually, Friday night was crying out for him to be there. I don't like talking about him this positive, but actually, I really do think he's one player that I would have taken.
I don't think he deserves it, though. He's done it on current form, and Eze has got more goals on his own than Rashford and Grealish put together. So he definitely deserves to be ahead of them two on current form. You know, and Maddison as well had a great start to the season, got injured, and now he's missing out because of the likes of Cole Palmer, obviously emerging this season. You know, you can't leave him out. So we've just got so many options in these positions, in that front, you know, in that three behind Harry Kane. There's so many players that we could play there that are so good as well. You know, but I think the only position for me really that's up for grabs is that third position in midfield, isn't it? Whether he goes with Trent there or Mainu, or you know, whether he plays Foden in the middle and puts Anthony Gordon left, or Eze. I don't know what he's going to do, but
I think the other problem is left back.
Yeah.
I think I like Trippier, but because he's not naturally left-footed, and we've only got really Luke Shaw there, it makes you a bit nervous. I mean, I don't know whether Kyle Walker can go over, play Trent on the right, but then do you want Trent back? So I think the left-back position is another one where I think teams will hit us because they will know that Trippier is more right-footed.
Yeah, definitely. It's a shame Ben White obviously couldn't sort his problems out with whatever the issue is.
Perfect.
Whatever the issue is there, it's a shame because he could have played centre-half next to Stones, couldn't he? But I think Mark Guehi will come in from Crystal Palace and hopefully he'll do proud. He'll do a good job there. I do like him. He's quicker than Maguire. But Maguire has played well for England. He pops up with a, you know...
But Maguire's good in the air, though, when we did look very short as well. It reminded me of the Blues, actually. Just very short. And literally the only person they had, like, we only have Jukovic that can header the ball, and we only had John Stones that can header the ball, for example.
Yeah. But I'm not going into Germany. I'm not going into this tournament negative, though, because we lost last week to Iceland. You know, like you said earlier, Mark, friendlies are just a public training session.
Training session, that's all they are.
We sometimes need it to put it into perspective. You know, if we'd have won all of our games going into it, everybody would have been on an absolute high, and then we go into the tournament, we get a bad result, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, what's happened here? Actually puts it into perspective that we're not unbeatable, and actually we've got frailties. There are areas that we can improve on. We didn't play our full and best squad on Friday either. You're right, Claire. People had their foot off the pedal a little bit.
Yeah.
I'd have probably swapped it around and had the game before with the full squad, and this one with those players that were either tickling on the edge or weren't going. You know, it would have been better from that perspective. I think you mentioned Trent Alexander-Arnold, right? When he came onto the pitch, he was pinging the ball for fun. I haven't seen a ball, knock a ball around like that for a long time. So he, to me, would start. And I think that would be a difference where you free up a little bit of space for Foden and Bellingham to go forwards. The weight of expectation on Bellingham is huge, massive. This will be make or break for him in terms of the England side. You know, I think he is an England captain in the making. If he comes away from this and he's had an absolute stormer, then he is, for me, dead set for the next England captain. I don't think there's anybody else in that squad that you would look at and think, do you know what, if Harry Kane wasn't there, who would you put there?
Can't be good, isn't it?
It'll be Declan Rice is the only other one, isn't it? Possibly, but that's it. Right. But let's go around the panel then. So I want to ask, and our viewers as well, put on the shout box, where are England going to finish in this tournament and who's going to win it? So I'll start with you, Claire.
Oh, I would love to win it.
Oh, we all?
I think we'll do semis.
Yeah.
And I think France will win it.
Yeah. So we'll lose to France in the semi-final.
Yeah.
That's exactly my prediction as well. So, yeah. Craig?
You're not going to be surprised to hear. I'm going to go opposite than that. I think we can get to the final. I think we'll go one better. I think we can win it. I really do think we can win it. I think we've got the squad, the mentality, and the tournament experience to go in and do it this time around. You know, we've been there. We got to the final. We just probably let too much go to our heads when it came to that final before. We didn't take our opportunities. This time around, we can do that. And do you know what? If we beat the likes of France, then there should be nothing stopping us from going through. They are the team to watch. If there was one team to knock us out, it's going to be them. But actually, I still believe that we can get past them. So I'm going to say I think we can win it, and I do think we're in that position where we've got a squad at the age where we can do it, and then a squad that we can build on as well, ready for World Cups next time around.
I might be in hospital having my stomach pumped if we do.
See, we all go on about sales of alcohol. Jesus, everything that we got.
Bank holidays every week for the rest of the year. There we go.
Yeah, 100%. Mark?
I've got a funny feeling we're going to get to the final again, but I think France are going to win it. So I'm going to say a France-England final.
I don't think that can happen, can it?
I don't think it can happen.
All right, then we'll win it. No, I think we'll be runners up again. I don't know why. I just got this feeling we're going to lose again in the final. But I'm not sure who's going to win it. To be fair, for France, the ones to watch, though, I think.
Allan?
So,
I think we can win it, but I still look at the back five and think there's a mistake there.
Yeah.
You know, if they don't, then there's no reason why we can't win it. But there's a mistake there. I just hope you know they have a tournament. I was looking at the World Cup '66, and pre-tournament we played 3 games. We scored 10 goals to 0 in the 3 games: Norway, Finland, and Poland. We didn't concede a goal till the semi-final, and we didn't play an unchanged side until the semi-final. So all this preparation, you know, we get to before the tournament, and that's the squad, that's the team. You know, it don't work like that. What we need, which will make it certain, is somebody to grab a place and do something like it was Jeff Hurst in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Who would ever thought we would have got England's side without Jimmy Greaves? But we did.
Yeah.
And we won it. And it evolved even when the tournament was on. It didn't evolve 12 months before while we were experimenting. It evolved actually during the tournament. And I think, and I can tell you another team in Italy, Poland. They did exactly. They found a striker. Can't remember his name. Who finished leading scorer in the tournament, and he wasn't in the side before. And they suddenly found this bloke, and woof, they went a long way. I can't remember exactly where. And I that's what I'm looking for. Somebody to, and it could be an established. It doesn't have to be a newcomer. It just could be somebody who grabs the thing by the throat and is the player of the tournament. And you say, well, that's, you know, that was world class. That was a cutter ball. We know they're good players, especially up front. But one of them, and let's hope it's Jude. But we certainly need somebody to grab it by the throat and say, we're going to win this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And he's Jude, isn't it? He's like Craig said, he drives us. He just drives the team forward. He gets everybody. He just gets that extra 25% out of the players around him as well. He's just phenomenal.
In the European Cup final, he did very little.
Yeah, I know.
But the second goal, he made that.
I know.
And that ball was 2 inches off the bloke's toe. He went straight to the bloke, and my missus could have put that in.
Yeah.
That's, you know, the one bit of class that separation.
Yeah, I've always said when I die, I want to see my club win a major trophy and my country win a major trophy. I'm halfway there. You know, so you've obviously seen it, Alan. What was it like in 1966? Where was you when we won the World Cup in '66? And how old was you then?
15.
Okay, do you remember it?
Like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And I also remember looking. I watched it at my grandmother's, and I also remember looking out in the street at half time, and it looked like the world had ended. There was absolutely nobody at all. There was a car moving. It was a wonderful thing, but it was so different because we had a football team who represented us, not a commercial entity, which the England side has become. It was just the 11 best players that we could find, and of course, they were all because the best players in the first division were all English, not foreigners.
Yeah. Then
we got a good team. Yeah. We got to get a good team because these were the best in the first division, which was still as good a league as anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
That's our problem now. Some of the guys. I mean, you're talking about Grealish hardly played for Manchester City in the last 6 or 8 weeks.
Doesn't deserve to be very, does he? You know, that's why you have to reward players for their club form, and that you know, it's always been. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
There is one other thing going into this tournament that I don't think we've had as a country in terms of our player base before, and that's that we actually have a lot of players playing in the countries where the tournament's being held. So, you know, people laugh and joke about it all the time, don't they? But actually, when you know the style of football that comes out of that particular area, you can kind of know what to expect. So, the Spanish side of the game, right, a lot of the players that have been in and around Jude and that he's been up against, he knows that style from Spain.
Yeah.
Germany, right? You've got our captain been out there scoring goals for fun, so he's going to know what makes those defences twig. He's going to know how to break those defences down. We haven't had that before, you know, in terms of that front. And yes, we've got a fair few Premier League players, but they're also up against, at the moment, those players from those areas and those teams. So actually, we've learnt a lot by having players out in those countries already. That to me has got to be a distinct advantage going into this, and something we haven't had before.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, not many people can say that, can they? Apart from obviously your big club fans. Not many people can say that. They've seen their club win a major trophy. You know what I mean? That's something that I do still dine out on even now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's been 12, 13 years, but yeah, it's as you remember it like yesterday.
Come on, let's get it out there now. What we're the only team in the Midlands to have won in what, Paul?
True though, isn't it?
It is true.
In the West Midlands we are, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So long may that continue as well.
I'd love to change the subject. I'd love to go back
to Spain as well. So he's got an idea of what the Spanish plays and styles like. Sorry, Mark.
No, I was just going to say, I'm just thinking about next season, back to Blues for a second. I'd love to go back to Wembley. Love to go back to Wembley next season in the
Bristol Street Motors. You'll never sing that.
Or a double. Maybe a double.
Change the sponsor again.
Yeah, player final. And the Bristol
I don't want the playoffs. I want to go winners. I want to go with the cup. Even second, you get a cup in League One.
The mentality has to be anything other than first is failure. That has to be the mentality of everyone on the playing side. That's what they've got to go. That's what they've got to go for and strive to achieve. There's nothing stopping us.
That's the mentality of every team at the start of the season, though, isn't it? I mean, this thing. It's not just about that mentality of the start of the season and going into it. It's about actually thinking to yourself that come April, May of next year, you want to be back into the championship. I mean, you want to set expectations high. Then coming into the next year, you want to be promoted. We want to set the stall out. That's the target. You want to be promoted at Easter or in a position where within a game or two, you're going to be up. So that's where they should be targeting. But I agree, some of it comes down to mentality. The rest of it is how you keep the team on an even keel as well, because the manager's got to get them up for the game. He's got to pick the right team. But then also he's got to make sure that that team can maintain those levels. And, let's face it, Division 1, everybody's just going to want to kick you. They want to kick you in the air. You know what I mean? It's going to be one of those that you can see it coming. You're going to have a really good player on the field. And what's going to happen? Somebody's going to go through them in the first 5 minutes. We've got to have that type of player as well.
When you think of the advantages that we're going to have, we've already talked about the financial advantage. My dear local team here at Crawley are now in the same division as us. Their average gate is 3,500, right? They had a few more at the end, obviously, when they were going for 3,500. And we got to turn up at this little poxy ground with about 300 supporters because they can't get any more in, right? And then we've got no local derbies to worry about. Closest is Burton. I know we never win there, but we will have a big enough squad, so we'll be able to play a shadow squad in the Leyland DAF or whatever they call it, Bristol Street Motors. Yeah. So we'll have plenty of time to get the squad players moving and fit. There'll be plenty, if we keep winning, then they'll keep playing. So with so much advantage that we've got over these teams, that what can go wrong, please?
Don't say
what can go wrong?
You've said it now, Alan. That's it. It's all over. Let's write the season off. It's gone already.
It's mid-table.
I'm going to click.
I can also picture. I mean, Claire mentioned it. We played 6 games. We won 3, drawn 1 and lost 2. And this is dreadful. Oh my God! Well, that's and I always have to think of the past. Now, first season, Barry Fry, we went down. First game of the season, we lost at Orient. Oh, world's coming to me. Following week, we beat Chester 1-0, which wasn't very good. And then in midweek, we played bloody Wycombe Wanderers and Cyril Regis. It was always our plague. Scored the winning goal. We lost 1-0. So we played 3, lost 2, won 1. And we won the league in the end. Yeah. And then it suddenly came together. I think the pressure starts to go away and you start thinking practically, well, we've lost these 2 games. Where did we go wrong? What we did this and this and this. And the pressure disappeared. You start thinking about what you're doing rather than what you hope to be doing. We put it that way.
I like Anthony Bailey's comment here.
Yeah, actually. I just saw that.
break the season into 4 blocks of 11.5 games and then set the points target. So, for example, set 24 points the first 11 basically 11.5 games, etc. And it's so true, that is, when you think about it. You know, it's not a sprint. The league is a marathon. And, you know, you just mentioned there about the Bristol Street Motors Cup and everything else, and actually playing the youngsters or getting people fit. Arguably, we could have a team that we have to keep together to try and build the winning mentality. And that's key. That's the first thing that we've got to get back, is a winning mentality. And I don't care whether it's a scrappy 1-0 win with a goal coming off somebody's backside in the last minute, or whether we're going and spanking teams 3-4, 5-0. The winning mentality has to be built and it has to be maintained. That will then help everything, and the confidence will just grow.
That Barry Fry side went a record 20 games without losing.
Yeah,
20. We'd had this dodgy start, then we went 20 games and we lost at York.
Lost 7 games, I think.
We lost at York, and the wonderful Uriah Rennie was in his first season in the Football League, and he booked every black player on our team, and we lost 2-1. And John McCarthy got one of the goals for them. But it wasn't there was, we were falling apart. We just won 20 games on the top. We lost 1. And then we went on and won another 10. You know, that was the difference. We've got to be, like I think you said it, Craig, we've got to be, what did you say, Paul? Expectation rather than hope.
Yeah.
Hope rather than expectation. Well, you're right. But we've also got to be prepared to be disappointed every so often, you know. Drop a silly point at home. Yeah, it's not the end of the world.
Wow.
Because teams will come and stick the bus in front of the goal. You know, I was looking at those screens thinking, well, put them in front of the goal, we won't concede many. But it's just getting used to this situation that we find ourselves in. You know, we play Northampton or somebody like that, and I can think back when we played Northampton in the 3rd division years ago. We beat them 4-0. We lost at Northampton.
Yeah,
we went there. We got beat.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Claire, you're obviously home and away regular. Are you concerned about not being able to get any tickets for away games next season due to the small allocation?
I'm hoping. I think I did 23, 24, so I'm hoping they have an upper platinum. If I can't go to a game, I'm not going to be very happy. So I'm praying that it's fair. That's what I expect, is that, you know, it's given to the people who are platinum, who have been up and down the country, who have a season ticket as well. I'm hoping that, you know, they're quite stringent on it, because if I hear that somebody who doesn't go to a game has also got a ticket, I think that's when it's going to affect us more. But I think normally there's about 1,000 of us, so if it's less than that, then...
And it will be, won't it?
You'll be the only ones to be able to get a ticket most games. Certainly at Crawley. If you get 1,000 tickets at Crawley, you'll be doing very well.
Thing is, if they're extending hospitality, which obviously they are, then they get priority over anybody for away games, don't they?
No. No, just to clarity on that one, this was asked before, actually, and it's not the case. It's exactly the same as what you've got at the moment. So if you've got somebody in hospitality who is a platinum, you know, traveller and everything else, then they will be treated as a platinum traveller. Anybody that's in hospitality and silver would be exactly the same. And it's...
Is it just the box owners then, Craig? Is it just the people that own the box?
Box owners do get some, but it's only a very, very, very small percentage of the tickets in comparison to what goes out. And that's always, you know, it's always been the same. But I know that there's so much work going on regarding the away ticket allocation. You know, we all know people that have been platinum members, that are listed as platinum members, and probably didn't attend 50% of the games last season.
Yeah.
Really?
There's work going on to crack down on all of that. It's. I mean, what will be interesting is to see those teams that, for example, have a very small away allocation but can't sell their home allocation. Now, if they know that they can get a larger following coming from the away team, then will they then open up parts of their stadium?
They did it with Leeds, didn't they? They've done it with Leeds before. They've done it with a few teams where actually they've given them like half the ground, basically, because they know.
Oxford, I think, is one of those teams, isn't it, that tend to look at what their sales are like and then decide.
I mean, Preston did it every week, didn't they?
I mean, Bolton's going to be a good one. Wigan's going to be one.
Barnsley's
a large allocation.
Barnsley's got a decent. I love Barnsley as well. I think it's great. It's such a great little ground. There's going to be some that are, you're going to get 4,000 of us there. It's going to be the ones where, to me, I just think it should. Obviously, I'm saying it for myself, but for the people that do it. If we're platinum and we're going up and down the country, I'm not bothered about if you've got a box or if you've got hospitality. At the end of the day, you've got to make sure that we get the tickets if we've done all the hard work throughout the season.
What I said earlier, sorry, Claire, what I said earlier, though, you're a customer, not a fan anymore. It's all about money.
Yeah, but the amount of custom I give them each season, do you know what I mean? And that's why I think they've got a really fine line to go with, because don't lose your loyal fans, because your loyal fans will go through everything with you, and they're more likely going to pay more money to watch you. So it's all right.
It's like a bucket, isn't it? You want to, with a bucket, you want to put in as much you want it overflowing with money. You know what I mean? You want to bring as much in as you can. But also, you've got to stop anything leaking out the bottom as well at the same time. And I do think that, they might lose, not just because of this, but also relegation as well. There might be, a few trickles out the bottom of the bucket, shall I put it that way? So hopefully there's more coming in the top than what's falling out the bottom.
Well, funnily enough, sorry, Craig. I was just reading an article yesterday about Spurs. Are they Spurs getting rid of their concessions?
Yeah.
What?
The senior citizens. Spurs.
I've got a lot of Tottenham friends who've got kids who go, and they're paying £2,000 for a season ticket, and a grand for the kids. Now they've got to pay full whack.
Yeah, they're getting rid of concessions, and a lot of people are saying in the future, I mean, like it or lump it, the casual sort of bandwagon jumper, the tourist, they will pay up to £100 for a ticket. Your average season ticket holder is going to pay 25, 30 quid and then just go home. Your tourist is going to spend 100 quid and all the rest, everything that goes with it. And they're even on about some clubs actually cutting down on the number of season ticket holders because it's just not viable financially.
Yeah, Liverpool do it. Liverpool only have a certain amount of season tickets.
So that's where the way the game's going, sadly. And well, it's horrible to say, but you'd be mortified if ever you missed out on renewing your season ticket in years to come.
I think I saw a fella who was a Wolves fan who goes with his son who stopped going now because he just can't. He's just got priced out of it.
Can't afford it.
And we've got to look at it this way, right? People have complained about the prices at St Andrews. I'm paying about £17 a game average. I'll never complain. Never complain about that. The Wolves one that you mentioned there, I think if I remember rightly, his season ticket had gone up by something like 40%.
38%.
Yeah, and it was, £700 for a ticket. Now, I've got family members who are B6 season ticket holders, and they told me the other day, £790 their season ticket. All right, they get less games, and the answer was, but we're seeing Premiership quality football. And actually, are you? Because when you look at the Championship, the gap between actually the top half of the Championship and the bottom half of the Premiership hasn't really got bigger. It's actually stayed pretty static. It's the top half of the Premier League that people are then paying extra to go and see. But then on top of that, those clubs have then got schemes for their European Cup games.
Yeah.
So, yes, they're in the Champions League, but you've got to join a scheme and pay more money and substantial amounts of money to get a ticket to go and see those games. Now, I don't begrudge them anything whatsoever. I desperately hope that come next season they draw Real Madrid and he comes along and Bellingham absolutely spanks him silly.
Yeah.
Everybody wants it, but actually it's a business. It's not football, as Allan said. In the 66 final, it was football. It was about the players, the fact that they represented your country because they had the love of the game. It wasn't about wearing a badge. It was the love of the game. Now, it's that. You put that in front of somebody and everybody's just got, yeah, okay.
It's worrying, Craig, to be honest. It does scare me a little bit because, 5 or 10 years' time, God knows how much we'll pay.
Look at what Mark Meredith said about out in America and, into Miami and the fact that... and you could get a ticket for like $35, $40, and then all of a sudden they sign Messi and it's $120, $130.
Yeah.
That does happen here, unfortunately. What I am looking forward to seeing now, going back to the club, is some of these things that are launching. So, the corner to corner bar, right?
Box
to box, sorry, advertising the biggest in Europe.
That's right, I saw that, yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, but didn't Nick Smith say at the open house that they're going to be hosting a couple of the Euros games in there? Or they're going to try and get the Euros on there or somewhere in
the fan park. I think if they get to the back end of the tournament, they're targeting for it to be finished for like the quarterfinals, for example. So the fan park, almost like trial games in effect, will be on in there in that area. But there's some exciting things to come. Who knows what they've got planned next? Because I don't think this spend that they're putting in now is going to be the last.
Oh no!
Dare I say, redevelopments of the main stand. It's still happening.
Yeah.
Craig, who's the guy that's in charge of the infrastructure there? I forget his name now.
Nick Smith. I just said it.
Because he comes over as quite a professional guy.
Really good. I've spoken to him a few times. Honestly, so switched on. He's unbelievable. He is, honestly,
absolutely phenomenal. And he was fundamentally behind the restructure and rebuild that you've seen at Man City and these different things, and everybody laughs and jokes about it. Gary Cook started that. He hasn't finished it. He put the foundations into place at Man City for where they are now, and it's been built on since. And you do see that in an awful lot of clubs nowadays. We've got a big journey to go on. But I tell you what, it's going to be so different come this pre-season and these first few games at St Andrews. It's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. But definitely mileage in that, isn't there? I'd love to watch like England in Euros quarter-final with fellow Blues fans that are England mad as well. And we're all jumping up and down together when we score, you know what I mean? That'd just be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Yeah. You might get a few Villa fans there though as well.
I don't know.
All right. They've got the 3 lines on the shirt, you know what I mean? And when it comes to the tournaments, 3 lines is 3 lines. Don't care which club you support, 3 lines.
Yeah.
I don't know. Would you go to a fan zone at their place?
No,
I wouldn't go to that.
Yeah, but they're different, aren't they? They're a different breed.
They're a bit weird, yeah.
Yeah.
So watch England play in that place. Like if they were playing there like they have.
No.
They have done.
I was offered a ticket years ago and I said no.
Sven-Goran Eriksson's first game in charge, and I was there.
Was you?
Did you disinfect when you left?
I always thought there was been something strange about you.
I did disinfect, and it was the opening of their stand as well. So it was. I managed to get tickets because they opened more seats when it had just been revamped. But at the end of the day, I've also been to Old Trafford to watch England play, and I've been to Newcastle to watch England play, and I've been at Wembley, New and Old.
Yeah, but that's different now. It's
different.
They're normal.
Is it? I've been to Wolves and watched England play.
Oh,
it's the country.
Yeah, I know. But I've watched England at the old Wembley and the new Wembley, and it's. I've only ever watched them at Wembley. I've never watched them in a different stadium. Not because I wouldn't. I would go to Old Trafford and watch them, or Newcastle or whatever. I would if I could. But
weird to say. It really is weird.
Well, Paul, this was going to be a quick catch-up show. Let's go on for 90 minutes. Sorry, Claire.
We were doing an hour show. I didn't think we had that much to talk about, but I didn't think we'd have a problem, to be honest.
No.
I've just got to answer this. Pete Taylor, no, I haven't got every disease that you can possibly have going. I promise I disinfected afterwards and took the antibiotics.
Good stuff.
Should have saw 3 World Cup matches at Villa Park and 2 FA Cup semi-finals. One of us was us, but the other one wasn't.
Yeah. Well, I'll round us off then by welcoming Chris Davies to the club, and I'm going to say, come on, England, let's go there and let's do it. You know, there's no reason why we can't do it. We've got the squad to do it, so let's just go out there and do it and bring it home. I've been Paul Hipkiss. Good night all, and it's good night from me and a good night from Chris Browne.
Good night. And it's a good night from me and a good night from Claire.
Good night from me. Come on, England, let's go. And good night from Craig.
Good night from me. 3 lines on the shirt. Let's wear them with pride. Sing that anthem and back the boys to the final. And over to the chairman, Allan.
Thank you, everybody. Good night to everybody. And yes, I ain't a great England fan like Paul. In fact, I've done years without watching them, but I do want them to win this time. And I'd like to say good night and hand over to Mark Adam.
Cheers, Al. I'd like to say good night. Come on, England. Any Panini stickers? Get in touch.
Here we go.
Is anyone
not Panini this time?
Is anyone struggling to sing "God Save the King"?
Yeah.
Weird one, isn't it?
Yeah. And then just think, when Charles passes on, we've got to sing it to a Villa fan. I can't do that.
No.
Oh.
Can't do it.
I can't. I'm not singing to Tom Hanks.
Good night, everybody, and thanks for sticking with us.
Hi, Mark Meredith.
Hi, Mark and Dan.
No one asked me who was going to win the cup.
Who's going to win the cup, Chris?
Forgot me.
Who's going to win the cup, Chris?
I'm going for Germany. England to scrape out of the out the group. Yeah.
So we're going out in this first knockout fight.
Yeah. Sorry.
People can't see, but Mark Adams is grinning at that one. I think he's got a secret bet on Germany.
No.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.